Thank you. Settle down now,
Lively
please.
crowd in here tonight in Bolton.
Frame.
Looking forward to this
Judd
best
Trump,
of 11 frame encounter. Judd Trump has won 3 of his previous 4 Champion of Champions semi-finals. Mark Selby has lost both of his previous 2. And as the guys were saying in the interviews, for some reason, even though they're well-established members of the top 4, they've managed to keep avoiding each other in tournaments. Haven't played in a big tournament for 3 years. And Selby's last win 7 years ago. So settle back and enjoy what promises to be, based on how well they played to win their groups, a really entertaining match. And I think, as we heard from our guys in the studio, all predictions really are off.
Yeah, the classic encounter, this one, isn't it? Straight away. Mark Selby, cue ball glued to the baulk cushion where it's going to have to be. Both were in amazing form, their respective group finals. Fabulous pot.
1.
Well, this is already what he was doing, of course, in that match with Mark Allen the other night. Getting in with good long ones, making the big breaks. Sort of match where both
6.
players' minds will be focused on the fact that they know they've got to play well. And it looks like Trump's not on that red to the left corner. But what a terrific early recovery pot that was.
7. Nine.
He was in this round, in this venue last year in the semis. He beat Karen Wilson 6-0. And that's
10.
the point. Although obviously they're evenly matched, so you fancy a close match. Either one of them can take control and run away with it. When they played in the Champion of Champions quarter-final back in 2014, it was Trump who won 6-1.
$15. 16.
Yeah, it's one of the great fascinations of our sport, the contrast in style. Being players very similar in size and stature, build, all that sort of stuff, but different techniques and different outlook and different ways of going about the business out there. Already here, you see Judd, you know, he's knocked in 2 or 3 terrific pots in the cue ball, doing a bit of mileage.
$22.
Yeah, it's one of those where not everyone was convinced that was going to drop. But he's looking to, as ever, in any match, but particularly a big one like this, just make a statement early on, show Selby how good he's feeling right from the off, how well he's playing.
$27. 28. 34. 35.
Yeah, so now he's got cue ball under better order. Forced to play a little cannon here. Could be the key shot. Two reds together, get half ball on the low side of it and then into the other three. Like that. Brilliant. Brilliant shot. No pace, just using what was on offer
41.
to separate everything.
$42.
Just looking at the total career titles, if you include everything, they've won. Trump 34 titles, Selby 33. So a lot of trophies there between them. Of course, Mark Selby's won 4 World Championships, which is the first thing you look at on any CV.
48. $49. $56.
Mark Selby, who managed to keep things so tight against John Higgins, just made one error to initiate the scoring for
57.
Trump. And he fully expects the frame to be over now. Just a couple of balls and it will be.
Yeah, so many questions to be answered coming into this match, weren't there?
64.
Lads in the studio, myself all pondering what was going to happen tonight. Well, the first
65.
question has been answered. And questioning whether Judd can produce anything like the form of that unbelievable performance against Mark Allen. The
72.
answer is
73.
a firm yes. This has been outstanding. Brilliant potting early on. And when he got the cannon, yeah, the reds in the open. This has been
80. 81.
precision to finish the frame off. Let's hope with a century.
$88. $89. Blue ball.
Yeah, he finished very close to the blue. So it's not a century, but 89 from his first chance.
And the
Is a
first
fine
one.
start to what promises to be a thoroughly. Welcome back, Mark Selby. I was just watching him there tapping his foot along to teenage kicks they were playing between frames, and he didn't have much to do in the first frame, did he, other than sit in that chair and watch Judd Trump put together that 89 to get the semi-final underway. Best of 11 to play either Ronnie O'Sullivan or Fang Zhengyi in the final on Sunday.
Judd playing it cautious. Almost inviting, trying to get Mark to play a safety and open the Reds up, I think. But the great man, Mark Selby, of course, sees everything out there. He'll have gotten that memo, frame one. Do not leave anything at distance for Judd. Got to be so watertight with his safety. There again, you see, really thin. Doesn't want to open the Reds up. Now then, here is one of the tests of cueing that any snooker player can face. Digging deep, so there's no bailout. Has to go.
One.
Ah, what an answer.
One.
So can he fire back in the same fashion in which Trump began the night?
That long red, I was in the practice room a couple of days ago and Mark practiced that exact long red on both sides of the table for about 15-20 minutes.
Nine.
Well, 2 years ago, the last time he was in the semis of this tournament, played Neil Robertson. There was 6 centuries between them. So, you know, it's often mentioned about his tenacity and tactical nous, but the scoring, of course, is there as well. He's actually made 2 more centuries this season than Judd
16.
Trump.
$17.
The tables this week along this end cushion I've enjoyed because I like to see players playing for the red, and Mark is doing here. You know, sometimes they can be so tight that players just don't want to play on it. It's too risky. But I like this table, the way it's
24.
playing. Yeah, you've still got to be accurate.
$25.
First mini risk. Yeah, there you see, it was a risk. Ever guaranteed
32.
there to land nicely on one. He's on nothing. Barring a double to right middle.
Mark Selby, 32.
Such a great thinker, Mark Selby again there. See, when you don't have any wing balls near any side cushion, and the reds are quite central, put the cue ball central. Never misses a trick that way. Just the fact that that last shot feathered the yellow. Quite a nice target, isn't it? Expect Judd to get close, in behind. Cover on the red, but can Judd back heel it?
Guys. Is he all right? No, we need to cut. We need
I think someone's
ambulance,
been
please.
just taking a little long. Well, it can get warm in here. We had this yesterday sometimes, so the gentleman there just getting some assistance from the staff here. Just taken backstage and looked after.
He's got interest, obviously, in the plant. The trouble with a plant like this, it's such an unusual type of shot. It's not one that you hardly almost ever play.
One.
But played to perfection.
Yeah, he never misses a trick, does he, Mark Selby? So back in already with a useful lead in this second frame. Been very positive so far tonight.
Six.
He's just thinking, do I play for the pink on this shot? No, he's not been tempted. He feels that he can pick them off using blue.
7.
Of course, he's the only player here who didn't actually win a title in the last 12 months. There were a few repeat winners, so he came in off the world ranking list. But there have been several years in this event where he's double, triple qualified.
13. $18. 19.
Seems to me they're both striking the ball with a lot of confidence so far this evening. You know, you can forgive early nerves, but these two, I guess they play so many big matches. They're just right into match mode from the off.
$24.
Usually brilliant at this shot, getting the revs on the cue ball.
25.
It might not look all that good, but the beauty of that shot, he didn't overplay it. He didn't get over ambitious with his cue ball. Didn't see that
Selby.
coming.
25.
Well, let's see how significant an error it is. First real significant miss tonight. Missed a long red earlier, but you expect him to get the blue.
Judd is sitting forward in his chair, looking at Mark, looking at... He wants to see the move that Mark makes and he'll learn from it. He's that sort of player now, we know, Judd Trump. Every day's a school day out there. That's a bonus, isn't it? Or is it? Is the plant on?
Selby came over to look at that with some concern. Trump up close to it, as you can see.
Yeah, it's just set in the near jaw, isn't it? It's an offsetter. So he'd be hitting the red on the inside half of it.
One.
Potentially a big shot coming up. Looks a bit ungainly sometimes with the rest because he uses his right hand, but he's very good with it, especially with power. Tough shot. Brilliant shot. That is a brilliant shot.
Seven.
Not saying it's going to happen, but that point I made earlier about these reds along the end cushion, that's why I don't like to see the pockets too tight. Because of this type of position, it gives you, some chance of being able to win the frame in one hit. Remains to be seen if that'll be the case, but
Eight.
calculated gamble maybe. Cannon on the middle red of the 3, possibly. Yeah, change of plan. As I say, the pockets are playable, so leave the cue ball high. Still fancy the red.
$14.
So we caught the
Judd
other one.
trump 14.
Just flicked it on the way through. So Selby needs 2 reds here.
One.
It was a bit of a feet wiper, that one, wasn't it? Didn't go in absolutely clean, hence the groan from the audience. Selby, if he does pop this red, will be relieved. He missed the blue initially, didn't he? That's where his problem started. It was an outside chance of a trump clearance.
7.
But now it's looking like 1 each.
$13. $13 and a second
Judd
frame.
Trump stays where he is. Mark Selby, as I say, in the end I think will be relieved there to get that frame on the board and to
Thanks for helping out, and sorry for not realising.
Welcome back to Bolton. It's the first semi-final tonight of the Kazoo Champion of Champions. 2 real big hitters here, Judd Trump and Mark Selby, 1 each. Trump dominated the first. He had a chance to counter-attack in there in frame 2, but just flicked the wrong red on the way through to trying to pot the other one. Mark Selby was happy to mop up and level up. I'm sure a lot of people here are hoping we get the full 11 frames tonight.
The third frame. Judd Trump the break.
Judd Trump, the reigning champion. So impressive here last year. And he's spoken so much of how he loves this tournament to get us underway in frame 3. Trump was talking about how he wants certain changes made around snooker the other day. There's no magic wand, I don't think, but one thing that really does put the game on the map is when the best players really produce the goods in the arena. And that's what we're expecting from these two this evening. Seen high quality play every day in this event so far. Referee Marcel Eckhart just checking the exact line, how much of the red side of the reds you can see.
he really is top class, Marcel. He's looking at 3 or 4 different things there. Safety's been brilliant as well, isn't it? A few weeks ago I said to Judd, actually, I said, you can grind with the best of them, can't you? And he sort of just smiled as if like, you bet I can. Showing it here, bossing this exchange.
Yes, he beat Mark Selby to win his first ranking title, didn't he? The 2011 China Open. And back then, of course, he got to the World Final shortly after. He was very much an all-and-out attacker, a potter, very entertaining, a little bit raw as well at the same time. But over the years, his all-round game has become formidable. And it's underpinned a lot of the tournaments he's won, particularly early on in events where sometimes you're struggling to find your best game, but he's found a way to win matches. And then when he starts to turn it on, as we saw against Mark Allen, then he's something else.
One.
Yeah, cracking pot. The green obviously is on. It's whether the cue ball past the brown appears not, so baulk cushion it will be.
Yellow ball. Judd Trump. 1.
potting angle, I don't think he can quite get through. He could certainly manipulate the cue ball. It's a deep drag with a bit of right hand side to throw the red wide. It might be worth playing this, not at any great pace you wouldn't think. Or maybe playing the full ball cannon on the other red. Like that. Brilliant shot. Unlucky.
Judd Trump 4.
Yes, and that's the great unknown quantity, isn't it, in snooker? The little bit of running, which, for all the analysis, you really can't predict. On another day, that cue ball comes away from the pocket, he's on the black, he's away.
One.
As it is, ball in hands, Trump knocks in a long red.
Yeah, unfortunate there, just drifting into balk. There's almost no value this time in the tuck in behind Brown. So is he looking to press? Looks like it.
Five.
Yeah, just didn't quite get there for the red. But again, it's a sign of his approach tonight.
Judd Trump 5.
He's played an effective safety. I was just thinking Selby, he's 6 years older than Trump, but he would have seen him at close quarters when they were both younger at Willie Thorne's in Leicester, where of course Selby was based. There were a lot of junior events run there by Malcolm Thorne, Willie's brother, and Trump would make the trip with his dad to play in them most weekends. So Selby would have known about him a long time, well before they both turned pro. And it's that great grounding that they had, and people like Malcolm who gave it to the young lads that made them the players they are, because they were learning about winning and losing. It wasn't just a bash up down the club, it was tournaments, it was difficult, and it was all good character building.
Yeah, the way this frame is panning out is an indication of the respect they have for one another. It's that case where it happens a lot, doesn't it, in the modern game with two top players. You just don't want to or can't afford to play a standard safety shot, bringing reds into play, because you know the consequences of leaving one.
Selby must feel like he's back playing John Higgins again, some of the safety that Trump is producing. Rather slow trudge back to his seat from Mark Selby. So Trump won that little duel there, that little safety duel.
One.
I mean, it's early in the match yet, but Trump actually just ahead on the safety stats, 94% to 92.
Six. Seven.
Called upon their reserves of power, but
14.
no joy this time. He didn't quite get the cue ball high enough on the initial red, so he had to really force that. And now he's got to be, well, he will be careful as he can be with opening these reds up.
Judd trump 14.
Ten reds there, and he snookered on all of them. Well, no quarter asked or given here, is there? I think that's the thing about all those junior events I mentioned. You learn to respect your opponents, but you also learn to respect the game and how it's played. That grounding they had in tournament snooker.
So this time it's Mark who's eked out a half chance. Well taken. Needs to run.
1. Mark Selby 1.
Judd will be relieved to see that he can actually hit a red this time. shouldn't be a problem. He's one of those, you miss the first one, you get the other one thin. No problem. Mark will see this as a pretty decent chance in behind green. There's a wee bit of danger if he plays in behind green. Of course, the brown is lurking there, so the line would be just to miss the brown on the right side of it. Whether he feels like he wants to take that risk. No. Just keeping the red central.
Trump's tactical game has improved so much over the years, it really has. There's never really any doubt with Selby's.
Yeah, and there's a lesson there for, up and coming players learning, and even professional players themselves, some of them. It's not like they're not capable of doing it. Some players don't put enough importance on that side of the game. Judd obviously does. And when you look at all the top players in the game, it's a club that you have to join or want to join. You just can't survive in top level snooker now without a good safety and tactical game. I think going forward, actually, you think of Zhao Xintong, fantastic talent, we all know that, but still young in his development as a top player. At some stage, you've got to think, right, okay, how am I going to compete week in, week out with these guys? Well, you've got to join that club and get tough. Because they're that good at this type of thing, Trump, Selby, and the obvious ones, that you can't go out into a match against them and think, right, okay, I'm just going to try and blow them off the table. They don't allow you that freedom. It's as simple as that.
Well, Mark Selby might consider moving his chair to that alt cushion because he's playing every shot from there right now. There's room for two though.
Okay, now Judd's been working his socks off to find this type of position. This is a chance in behind green. Yeah, I'd be mildly disappointed with that, but because he would have seen that as a pretty bog standard shot for him to find the cover. And he's got his reward. This is a chance.
It's been a battle of nearly 9 minutes since the last ball went in, the safety duel. Trump already 23 in front.
One. Eight. Nine.
This shouldn't really be a problem because the three reds now that are in the open is all he's going to need. Providing, of course, he stays on pink and black, which I would expect him to.
$16. $22. $23.
Well, he worked so hard to control,
30.
contain and ultimately outmaneuver Mark Selby in that safety exchange.
31.
And now he needs this black to leave Selby needing a snooker. So a concern for Selby, if he's not on top in that department, he could have problems tonight. Hang on. Ooh, he's okay. So one snooker needed.
38.
And that's, of course, dangerous territory. There will be no playing the snookers now. And that's significant because that might have saved, A, a lot of pain, but also a lot of time. And possibly the frame as well, you just never know.
42. .43.
So Trump has already scored well with that 89 in the first frame. His safety's been excellent in this frame. And Mark Selby on the back foot.
.46.
Yeah, and the other thing is he looks hungry.
47.
He's been through a period in his career, hasn't he? Just of, you know, the last, whatever, 10 months or a year where he lost a wee bit of interest now and again, but that's okay to do that because that happens in life and sport, your job, whatever. But he's back now
49.
and looks fully tuned in to everything he's doing out there.
Well, 96% pot success, 93% safety success. You put it together, and it's been a terrific all-round display so far from Judd Trump. Well, he's only 2-1 down, but Mark Selby has just been a little outmanoeuvred so far.
Thank you, fourth frame.
He's yet to really score, and Judd Trump did win their safety battle in the last frame. He leads 2-1. This is the last before the mid-session interval. Of course, we've not seen Selby since the first day. He was here Monday. He won that group eventually with victory over John Higgins. The first of a number of great matches we've seen in the evening sessions during the week. Well, it's the first long pot he's missed this evening. He potted the previous 5.
Foul in the miss. Judd Trump.
Yeah, probably just invite Mark to play from there.
From there, please, yeah.
Yeah, Judd's bossing it, isn't he, right now? That man is going through a freeze out. He just can't get anything going because of the class and the standard of Judd's safety and tactical game. And this is where he normally thrives. Ah, not this time.
Yeah, it's one you just expect him to get. It doesn't mean it's easy, of course, but he's got his hand on the table. Seen him knock so many in. And not just that, he's clearly on top. That was a chance to press on there and cause more concern for this man, Mark Selby. Wobbled and wobbled, but it didn't drop.
Yeah, that was a horrible shot to be faced with. Couldn't access the middle of the cue ball. I say it's freeze-out time at the minute for Mark. This is where Judd's got to pounce and press home the advantage. Yeah, what he's looking for here is obviously the plant and keep the red over the pocket. Then it's black and the red above it. And an angle to go into the bunch off the next black with the guarantee of the one that's over the corner.
Sixteen.
He's got his wish, so Colin reserves of power, push some reds into the open, hopefully. Maybe didn't have quite enough angle on it, so still work to do.
24. $25. $32. $33.
Well, it's the fifth black coming up.
$40. $41.
Yeah, that red just needed a bit of persuasion to drop here.
That was a gorgeous little shot. That shot alone,
46.
That's one of those D-cell shots that can happen to the best of them, but that gives us a real good insight. We know he's playing well, but it gives you an insight into the confidence when you have that type of little shot that can easily go wrong. And of course, on the verge of a few shots away from
52.
a healthy 3-1 interval advantage is going to give the great man in the chair much to ponder.
53.
Yeah, the problem's not the scoreline, it's the way it's panned out, the way Trump is shutting him out. He had that half chance Selby, left the red in the jaws of the pocket. other than that, he's not had that many clear-cut chances, really.
60. $61.
I didn't quite get high enough, so usually a problem. Mid-distance red coming up, just to secure that 3-1 advantage. Again, he uses experience here. He'll play
66.
whichever way helps the pot as far as cue ball's concerned. Yeah, just stun it in. Straight black. That's absolutely fine.
Well, this is really impressive stuff from Judd Trump. In all departments. And we saw it right from the off. He made that 89 in frame one. That could have been a century. He won the safety battle in the last frame. Hasn't quite got the cluster there, but he's 78 in front with 67 on, so Selby needs 3 snookers. What Selby really needs when they come back after the interval is to get in early in a frame and start doing some damage himself, because he's been kept out.
Judd Trump, 74.
Well, anything could have gone in anywhere there, frankly, but nothing did. It was a good break, wasn't it? 74. Dangerous in a way, opening the reds like that, because if Selby had got on one and been able to take 4 of the 5 with blacks, take it down to 1, the free ball comes into play then.
Oh, Judd Trump 7. And
That's the end of that. He's caught the black. Judd Trump on top as the players head to the interval in the first semi-final of the Champions.
Judd Trump will be delighted not just by the scoreline, but the way it's been achieved. He's been the total package this evening. Mark Selby.
Thank you, settle down, please.
The third frame seemed as though it might be tailor-made for him.
Break.
But Trump made that 49 break after getting the better of a 10-minute safety exchange with the maestro. As David Hendon said just before the interval, Trump excellent so far in all departments.
Yeah, I agree. It was 4 very good frames of snooker. Judd, we know, is a very attacking, aggressive player, but, you know, let's be honest. This level now, they've all got excellent safety games, defensive games. It's just a brand of snooker goes with the attacking. You have to sometimes refuse shots or play subtle safety in amongst it all. And he seemed to do that and win the battle more often than not. Anyway, we've got more of this to come. 2 of the great players of the game, seemingly in good form.
Yes, and I think if he can beat Selby by showing tactical excellence, that gives him a lot of self-belief, a lot of satisfaction. But the great beauty of a best of 11 is that it gives the player who's behind at the interval some form of latitude to get back into it.
Yeah, we're down the line, and Marcel Leclerc is very keen to see exactly where the cue ball is, for the reasons that, of course, he might have to replace it. Judd, I think, could get to the edge of the bunch, but it looks pretty risk-free dropping into them of 2 cushions anyway. Not saying that. I think he's left that on one of them. No, that's okay. Maybe he has stuck it well. There you are. He has. Looked fairly innocuous going into him in that way.
You can see from his score sheet, he's been starved of quality table time, Selby. Nothing like winning a frame with a sizable break, but there's lots of work to do before that comes to pass.
Nine. 16. 17. 24. 25.
'Well, he's got an angle on this. Not a huge one. Well, he's unlucky there. He could have been on something more straightforward than
32.
what he is.
The cue ball and the red came back together. Selby was hoping for some kind of separation, but it didn't happen. And when you have to judge a potting angle with white and red so close together, it's really tough.
Yes, and of course with that it wasn't that easy to keep the cue ball under tight control. It's actually not so bad where it's finished. This is the pot.
Rambo.
Well, there's a red, as you can see, left of the bunch, which can be got on. I think that's quite a good shot. He's gone a fraction too far, but he goes to the middle.
37.
He played that well.
Already his highest break of the match. And if this shot goes to plan, it could be a sizable contribution. It should be a sizable contribution.
$43.
Well, if the red goes to the middle, it's the furthest right red of them all. It's an easy shot to drop through for the pink where it is. It gives him very little to do. Whereas if he had to play outwardly onto a different colour, that would be a different story. We can just drop it in.
$44.
Well, this is a good start. Yes, he got in with a fairly unlikely way with the roll up to the bunch that Judd didn't quite judge right. At no point would you have said it was going to be a big chance, but he's made it into an excellent one.
50. $51.
And his interval time on the practice table is being vindicated.
Seems to be using quite a long bridge these days, more so than in the past.
58.
Noticed it earlier on. Shots like the previous one. He seems
59.
to just be playing and not worrying about all that. When he first turned professional with a very long cue action, it wasn't really in his interest then. It's before he became a top player. But he's definitely playing a little bit longer. Cue's coming right back. Playing with a lot of freedom. To me, that is a slight change in his game. Anyway, he's not played that one to perfection.
66.
It's a colour with this red to the middle, and it's not straightforward where the cue ball is on it.
Mark Selby.
Well,
66.
he's managed to nudge the pink safe, so despite the fact that he hasn't won the frame, he's played an effective safety shot to enhance his chances of winning it.
Selby's safety was his prerogative, refusing the red, but he needed to play a more telling safety than that. And what's more, the bonus of getting the pink out.
$5.
Well, he saw the shake of the head, and he's not on one. He's on a thin one, but it's certainly not what he was intending. He gave him the option to try and nudge the other red out, which didn't quite
6.
work out. I don't think he'd want to take too low a value colour here because you'll be running low on points. If he does play the yellow, then to take blacks with all of what's left. And we know nothing goes to the right corner from the left side. Well, if that cannon had worked, he would have been favoured in the frame, would you believe, from here?
11.
Desperately looking for a way to keep this break going. His plant he's looking at is more than difficult. They have to play safe, reluctantly.
Shot trump 11.
Trump, though, not being outmanoeuvred when it comes to tactics. Look at that. Superior to Selby so far.
If Mink had missed the jaws there, the keeper would have come out into the middle of the table, into a better position. Well, the green
Blue ball.
is no good to him. This blue is mighty difficult. Well, see, he didn't take the green because he could have only tied the frame with the green.
Shot trump 1.
Played the biggest of big shots there, and he got nowhere near it, quite honestly. Not that it was anyway easy.
One.
That was a desperation blue. And to Selby's great relief, it didn't come close, as Neil said.
I think Judd will see himself as a bit unlucky in that little exchange there. A couple of times he tried to find a way of getting the frame one from a clearance. Didn't quite run for him.
9.
They'll be relieved that it never amounted to anything.
$16. 17.
Sometimes sitting alone, sometimes chatting with a friend
24.
is the best thing to do during a mid-session interval. But when you've been starved of table time, get out there, knock a few balls in, loosen up the cue arm. That's what Selby did. He made a 66 break, and eventually he crossed the line. So Judd Trump still leads, but now only by a single frame.